Welcome to the Vegas Top Dogs TV YouTube channel. We have your update for the baseball playoffs, the NLDS and the ALDS here starting on Tuesday. We have guest handicapper from Vegas Top Dogs, Frank Jordan, on the show with us to share his thoughts, opinions, and analysis of the four series. Welcome to the show, Frank.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You're a baseball expert handicapper. Which series do you want to start with?
Let's go with Houston and Seattle. Nice divisional matchup between two AL West teams. During the regular season, Houston took 12 of the 19 matchups between these two teams and finished with the best record in the American League at 106-56, and were quite tough at home, going 55-26. Seattle's coming off a big 2 wins in Toronto, winning yesterday 10-9 in comeback fashion after being down 8-1 at one point, which was quite a surprise to this guy.
Me as well.
And I think this one's going to go to Houston 3-1. They're just too good, too veteran, and Seattle is just a little young and probably needs one more solid bat, maybe a veteran bat in the offseason to really put them over the edge for next year. But I think Houston just has too much talent on offense, and the pitching is quality, especially Verlander, who did very well against very well at home, rather, 10-1 with a 1.64, and very well against Seattle.
Yeah, he is tough at home. 5-1. This series is a best of 5, and right now the series price is Houston minus 250, so they are a big favorite. They do have home field. I think that'll be a big advantage for the Astros. Like you said, Verlander is very good at home. They have Valdez, who's good, Lance McCullers. They have a very good pitching staff. Seattle, their batting average this year on the road was 226, so they're not a very good road team. Looking at the last 7 head-to-head meetings, it was the second half of the season. Houston went 6-1 against Seattle, with that one loss being a 5-4 one-run game. So I think the Astros have a major edge. I think Trey Mancini on that team helps. Kyle Tucker with 30 home runs. And then you have the usual guys, you know, Jose Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez. It's just a very tough lineup. They have the playoff experience. I agree with you, Houston Astros for the series. Next game, let's stick with our AL matchup. Our two favorite teams, as you could tell. Cleveland at the New York Yankees, and the Yankees series price also minus 250. Frank, what do you got on that series?
That one should be interesting, but probably like the Yankees in 4 as well. Reasoning is they're rested. They have their pitching lined up. Cole went 13-8 on the year, but did set a Yankee record with 257 strikeouts and went 2-0 against Cleveland with a 1.42 ERA, striking out 15 Indians in 12 2/3 innings with a 163 batting average against. Also,
I didn't know he faced the Indians, huh?
I'm sorry, the Guardians. We're not going to send a donation somewhere. That's why I usually try and stick with the cities. They don't change that much. But
the Yankees I've been doing the same thing all year.
The Yankees went 5-1 against Cleveland in their 6 matchups, outscoring Cleveland 19-7 in New York and then 19-7 also in Cleveland. So the hitting edge definitely goes to the Yankees. The pitching's lined up with Cole and then Cortez in game 2. And Cleveland's a little behind, having to play in the wild card. I mean, plus there's always, the MVP, Judge, who had 62 homers, 133 runs scored, 111 walks, 311 average, 131 RBIs. How can you bet against that guy and his team?
I agree. Cleveland's a very young team. They did advance, but I think the Yankees have the upper hand in this series as well. I'm calling Yankees for the sweep here.
I figured there'd be one game the Yankees don't hit. Occasionally that happens, and Cleveland will win the tight game 3-2 or something like that, and then
a 40-degree game, and it'll be cold, and the Yankees bats will go cold.
Yeah, maybe the first game in Cleveland, maybe it'll snow. Who knows?
All right, moving along here. Before I forget, make sure you like, subscribe, give us that thumbs up. We'll get an alert every time we put a Vegas Top Dogs TV YouTube video out there. So like, subscribe, thumbs up, and we'll keep these videos coming to you each and every week with valuable winning information. You could also visit Frank Jordan's personal page at VegasTopDogs.com. He'll have baseball playoffs picks along with football throughout the week. Next series, let's go to the National League. It's the early game on Tuesday at 1:05 p.m. on Fox TV. Philadelphia Phillies travel to Atlanta. Currently, Atlanta minus 200 for the series. That's the series price. Frank, what do you think in that one?
I think this is going to be a great series that's going to go the full 5 as they are division rivals. And although Atlanta finished 14 games better with 101 wins versus 87 for Philadelphia, they were 6-3 at home against the Phillies. Atlanta was, and they split the 10 games in Philly, each winning 5. So they had the 11-8 series, season series win. And I think there's just too much with Atlanta. They are defending champs. They have Acuna back this year, and Olsen filling in for Freeman has done just as well. He had 34 homers, 103 RBIs.
Yeah, monster season.
Riley had 38 homers, 93 RBIs.
I had him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, and Philly, all they had was Schwarber, who had 46 homers and 94 RBIs. But if you have that many homers and less than 100 RBIs, it means you're hitting a lot of solo shots, which don't help in the regular season or in the postseason, because you need multiple runs, because runs are at a premium with quality pitching.
Absolutely, I agree. I think this series is going to go 5 with Atlanta coming out on top. They did go Atlanta went 7-5 versus the Phillies in the second half of the season. Nola has been great with the 3 ERA. Wheeler's been great, 12-5 record, 2.82 ERA. So I think the Phillies' top 2 pitchers are going to keep them in it. What I don't like is the Phillies' offense has been cold. Even in their last series, they scored in 3 innings out of the 2 games. They come from behind, 9th inning, where they put up 6 runs against St. Louis. And then yesterday they had
fielding.
What's that?
They had some help from the lack of fielding by St. Louis, which is surprising from Goldschmidt and Arenado.
Right. So I think the Phillies pitching will keep them in it. I think there'll be low-scoring games, but Atlanta coming out on top. Let's say Atlanta in 5.
I think it'll be a home series
home
where
teams will win.
We'll win all 5.
Makes sense. And our final series, as they're making this video, Padres are currently winning, but we don't know for sure if they're going to be facing the Dodgers. But I don't think it matters if it's the Mets or the Padres. I think the Dodgers are the team to beat in the National League. I would imagine they're going to be probably 3-1 favorite, no matter if it's the Mets or the Padres. So I think the Dodgers have the pitching, they have the hitting, and I think that'll be the team that advances in that matchup.
I think the big edge goes to the Dodgers with the bullpen. I think that'll really help them. If they play San Diego, I think they'll win in 4. San Diego's pitching just doesn't quite match up. And if it's the Mets, they have the horses and a decent lineup where I think that'll go 5. But because the Mets actually won 4 out of 7 against the Dodgers in the regular season. But with the travel, I think that'll hurt the Mets a little bit. And they would win in 5, the Dodgers would, if they played the Mets.
All right. Thanks for joining us here, Frank. Couple props I want to get your opinion on. Player props are not available yet, so we couldn't give you any of those. But 2 props I did see, a couple offshore sports books. Now, this is throughout the balance of the playoffs through the World Series. Total grand slams over or under 3. I think playoff baseball is about bullpens and pitching, low-scoring games. So I would say under 3 total grand slams if you could get down on that. I think that's a very solid prop. And another prop that caught my eye, total walk-off wins throughout the remainder of the playoffs. That's set at 4. Now, walk-off wins are hard to come by, but these are low-scoring games. I still think it's going to be under 4 walk-off wins for the remainder of the MLB playoffs. Frank, your opinion on those?
I agree, because I think in the first was 8-9 games, there was only one walk-off with Cleveland in 15 innings. I think there'll be less walk-offs because they don't have the silly ghost runner on second base anymore.
Right.
So I think, somebody will get their runs and then they'll go to the bullpen. The bullpens will come through. And the good teams only play half the times at home. So chances are the lesser teams won't have the walk-off wins against the tougher bullpens. As far as the Grand Slams, there'll probably be, a couple here or there, in the division series. And then there's less teams, so less games in the World Series. So even at worst, if there's 3, you get a push, you get your money back. Right. It's not, you don't have to worry about that ever hated hook that gets you sometimes and bites you in the ass. But so yeah, I like both of those unders.
I agree. All right, make sure you visit VegasTopDogs.com for your baseball winners and football as well. And as always, make sure you like, subscribe, give us that thumbs up, click that bell. You'll get the notifications for our Vegas Top Dogs TV YouTube videos. I'd like to thank Frank for coming on and joining us. Frank Jordan, expert baseball handicapper. Frank, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future.
Anytime, man. As always, be a winner.
That's right. Be a winner. Good luck with your action. We'll see you again later in the week.